You might already begin to notice how learning something new doesn't have to feel like learning at all. Because sometimes the best kind of learning is when the conscious mind forgets to try and the unconscious mind simply remembers what it always knows. And maybe even now it's beginning to do that, as if you're just relaxing into the realization that installing a new operating system is no different than putting on a new identity. Just like slipping into a warm jacket on a cool day. It fits, feels natural, maybe even familiar, as if it was always yours. And if someone once told you that compassion is a strength, you might have believed them or not. But what if that belief had always been true, and now your mind is catching up to it because you are already someone who understands that kindness is clarity, that empathy is precision, and that warmth is power. You've seen how a single act of kindness can soften the hardest face, melt the deepest tension, reconnect the disconnected, because the mind reflects what it's immersed in. And you are already immersed in something powerful, aren't you? And you may not know how this is all sinking in, but it is. Even if you don't notice it right away, that's okay. Because the best changes, they're the ones that just become who you are. Because someone once said that reality is fluid, not fixed. When you hear that, a part of you might wonder, what does that really mean? But another part of you, the deeper part, it already knows that shifting beliefs, it's as simple as shifting focus, like this. A child once believed the moon followed them home. And in that belief, they felt safe. Now imagine believing that compassion follows you, that kindness wraps around you like gravity. And wherever you go, people feel it, because they mirror your energy, don't they? And now notice how easily the belief, I'm enough, it can slip in like a whisper between thoughts. Because haven't you already acted as if it were true, even when no one noticed? Even when you doubted. Yet still you showed up, still you listened, still you cared. That's strength, that's resilience, and now that becomes identity. Because you're not learning things for the first time, you're remembering what you've always been. And if resilience is a muscle, then your mind is the gym. Every time you reframe, you grow. Every time you bounce back, you build. Every time you face a challenge, you're proving again. You're always growing. There was a man once who kept giving, and someone said, aren't you afraid you'll run out? And he smiled and said, you only run out when you stop believing it flows through you. And that's the key, isn't it? Compassion. It isn't a limited source. It's an energy, a river. And you're not the reservoir, you're the channel. It passes through you, and in doing so, it cleanses you. And maybe you've already realized, the more you give without needing, the more you receive without trying. Because abundance flows from alignment, and alignment flows from belief. Now notice what begins to shift as your unconscious begins weaving this together. Compassion as connection, empathy as intelligence, boundaries as strength, kindness as your default operating system. Because all you have to do is decide, not force, not struggle, just decide. This is who I am now. And your unconscious says, of course, you always have been. And as each new belief integrates itself into your nervous system, it's like upgrading invisible code, old patterns fading, new patterns firing, neurons reconnecting like old friends, like your nervous system is catching its breath and finally smiling. You don't have to try to remember all this. You just have to allow it to become true, like it's already unfolding, because from now on, you act from belief, not from fear. You create from wholeness, not from lack. You speak from truth, not from performance. And the world mirrors that back to you. So what happens when every moment becomes proof that you're living your values? What happens when others feel safer in your presence? Because you found peace within. The answer doesn't need to be spoken, because the change is already happening, deep below words. Where real beliefs live, where identity reshapes itself, not by force, but by remembering. You are already that, and it only is getting stronger.